Hello, I'm Jack Rickard, and this is EVTV. I'm here with my compadre and consiglio, or hell, brain noto.
Hey, it's good to be here.
It's Cinco de Julio.
It is. Hail Caesar.
We've blown off fireworks, and
They still have all our digits.
we're having actually a very cool July. It's been marvelous weather.
So.
I heard from Michael Bream of EV West
Oh,
why
okay.
they weren't at Pikes Peak.
Oh, all right.
They went to Laguna Seca instead.
They have that electric, the refuel.
Yeah, which isn't anything on the order of Pikes Peak. And he was so emotional about the Pikes Peak run last year. The whole thing sort of surprises me. He's talking about bringing his BMW E3 out to electric vehicle conversion convention.
Cool.
EVCon,
That's here next month.
which is a month from tomorrow.
Yes, it's coming up.
I suppose we need to get that book done. I ought to contact some speakers or something.
Jack's been
We
slacking.
actually have, he was saying he needed a covered carrier and was struggling to find one. High Performance Electric Vehicle Systems is up in Ontario?
Yes, they're in Ontario, right by the airport. Yes.
Ontario.
Yes.
And they're bringing 2 cars. I think Richard Rodriguez is bringing a car.
He's bringing his Porsche, I think, right? His
I believe.
914. He's got
And-
a 914.
Well, he might be bringing something else. He was a little vague. And then we have a new gentleman, that more about him later.
Okay.
Jehugarcia, who's going to bring a VW bus from Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Cucamonga, yes. They're in the foothills of Southern California.
Why don't you guys get together? And we rented a truck for Carlisle.
Yeah, we
And
did.
It was surprisingly little compared to what you pay to ship a car. You rent
Right.
the whole truck for. I don't know,
And the guys. We had the guys for a
with the
couple days.
driver for a couple of days, for a couple $3,000, and pool this together. And you can save some pretty good ducats.
I think so, yeah.
And you don't have to ride along with them or anything. You rent the truck, and the driver just goes and does what you tell him to.
Right.
And so I've got to believe they could save some ducats by forming a common cause.
Little cabal.
From Southern California, because we have a number of people coming.
Yes.
That's a long trek.
It is.
And so hopefully they can get together. I got a great video this week. This is a very interesting story. This guy was a carpenter in Southern California,
Okay.
and he wanted to be Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And so he took his video camera with him everywhere he went and made lots of videos. But they
Nice.
just didn't look the same as Hollywood.
Okay.
So he made a lens that would make it look like cinema.
Wow. Ooh.
Guess what?
For your basic camera.
Before
Okay,
it was
wow.
over, he doesn't have time to go be a carpenter because he's selling these things hand over fist. He's hiring everybody he knows in his house. Finally, builds a shop down the street. and because most of the time he was driving 100 miles round trip in LA traffic.
And I've done
To
that
work.
before to work, yeah.
He sold his car and just wouldn't drive for like 3 years. I know the
It just went
feeling.
into shell shock, huh?
And he come out and wanted a car, and he decided he wanted an electric car. He has built one from Martha Stewart style, starting with dirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you start with dirt and build the car, you're doing it the hard way.
That's right, yes.
But
You're doing
check
everything.
this out. Jehu.
All right.
Hi, Jack. My name is jehugarcia, and I'm from Rancho Cucamonga, California. That's about 30 miles west of Los Angeles. I'd like to show you my EV conversion, my VW bus that I'm converting. But first, let me tell you a little bit about myself and my background and stuff. I'm a carpenter by trade. I worked like 11 years at a dead-end job. You know, I was good at carpentry and stuff, but I just used to hate it. And I plotted my exit and from that job for many years until I was able to do it. I'm here in LA. You know, everybody grows up wanting to be in the movie industry, and I was no different. I wanted to I was really interested in film and filmmaking and all that stuff. So at that time, the only thing that was available for us was video camera. So I used to always carry my video camera everywhere. So I ended up going into business doing that. I'd figure out how to make this little device and video cameras that would allow you to make your video look more like film. It was essentially like a telescene little machine in front of your video camera, and you would use 35 millimeter lenses. Anyways, I set up. I started working here at my home. It was a home business for the first year. We grew. I was there at the right time with the right product, and we grew. I hired a bunch of people to help me, and eventually, we had like 10 people in our company and stuff. Eventually, we outgrew my home here, and we ended up getting a office and warehouse location, close to by my house. So that's what I'm doing. I own my own business, and that's what I've been doing for the past 2.5 years. I gave away my car when I started doing this business here at home because I was really tired of driving. This job, being the carpenter, it's the darnest thing. It's like in 11 years, I'd never had a job that was close by here, in my same town. I always had to go, 100 miles away or something. Or it wasn't rare that I'd do a 100-mile round trip a day to go to that job. So it was really, it was real exhausting, and my soul was dying because all that time is being wasted here in LA. We have like the worst traffic in the country and stuff. So I was sick and tired of driving, so I gave my car up. I got rid of my work truck, and for 4.5 years I haven't owned a vehicle. So but now things have changed, and I wanted to get a car, and then I didn't really know what the state of cars was because I was so invested into my business and stuff. And once I started looking more into cars, I was really not interested in anything. I liked like the BMWs and stuff, but that's when I saw the Tesla and Model S, and then I was really excited about the technology and about electric vehicles. So that's what got me into this thing, and eventually my plan is to get into that business because I see a whole revolution coming in the DIY electric vehicle conversion business because the OEMs are just not going to do it. So that's a little bit of my background. Let me show you my car now. Now, as you may know, VW started making cars in the early 30s, 40s, I think. Hitler himself commissioned Dr. Porsche to make a car for the German people. Now, unfortunately for the German people, the war got in the way, and they didn't get to drive the VW in the early days, as most of the metals and most of the resources were diverted towards the war effort. So, I think by 1943, there was only like 600 Beetles that were made. So those are really rare, and they're in museums now. But fortunately for us, the English army commissioned someone to start manufacturing the bugs back again after the war in 1949 or 1945 or something. And they did pick up production, and by 1955, they were making their 1 millionth Beetle. They had in those early days they had one rule and to keep it simple, and so they only had one body type, and they didn't make a lot of changes throughout those years. It's like all the parts are mostly interchangeable and stuff. Now, of course, our rules are made to be broken, so they did break their own rule in 1950 because they introduced the VW Transporter. And there's a lot of variants of those. There's like the commercial ones, and then there's the combis, and then there's the passenger ones. and those are really rare. Let's look at. I chose a 57 production. So if we look at the 1957 production, there was a total of just under 92,000 transporters produced that year in 1957. And by 1957, they had moved production to a Hanover plant. They were no longer made in Wolfsburg. Now, out of the 92,000, only 3,500 were the deluxe 23 window Sambas. So that makes the Sambas only 3.8% of the total production of 1957. Now that's a really rare car. So there's only 3,500 of those cars were ever produced. That's 1957. Of course, in those years, Volkswagen was mostly producing cars for the European market. The U.S. really had no, Americans really they weren't buying into these things. They liked their big cars and stuff. And so much that in 1952, there was only like 600 cars that were sold in the U.S. They started Volkswagen USA, a subsidiary of Volkswagen, in 1955, and at the end of that year, they did sell 30,000 vehicles in the U.S. So in 1957, out of the 92,000 transporters that were manufactured, only 18,366 came into the U.S. market. Now, we don't know how many of those 18,000 were deluxe Sambas, but we do know that the total production, only 3.8% of total production were Sambas. If we assume that 3.8% of the 18,000 that came in that year were Sambas, that would mean that in the U.S. in 1957, there was only 698 Sambas. So, 700, about 700 of those. That's a pretty rare car, especially 56 years later. A lot of those have been crushed. A lot of those been just rusted away and stuff. So, pretty rare 57 Samba. It's so rare that I couldn't find one. And even if I did find one, it was going to be really expensive. I've seen those $160,000, $80,000. It's like ready to be restored kind of thing, just because they're so rare. So I couldn't do that. So what I did is I found a 1957 panel, a commercial vehicle, which were the most widely available vehicle of any year. And I made that bus, the panel, I decided to convert it into my dream 1957 Samba. And by my dream bus, I mean, in those days, Volkswagen was really eager to please. They would pretty much do the car and let you pick any combination of options with your car. Like, for example, if you wanted to paint it your own color and not a Volkswagen color, then they would deliver the car to you in primer, for example. They would put a swivel seat, in your delivery van. So they were really accommodating on the options. So there are some options which are very popular. Some of those are double doors, for example, double cargo doors, and that's modern minivans have that. It's almost like standard. Well, in those days, they only came on one side. My 1957 panel that I bought was a double door. Another option was a walkthrough, and by walkthrough it means that the front seat is not a bench seat. It's two little bucket seats, and it has a cut in the center of them so that you can walk from the front of your bus to the back area. So that's another option that makes cars valuable. So that's what my Samba is, a 1957 double door walkthrough Samba. Which is pretty rare. I actually don't know of any factory original Samba made that way, but it could be out there. Like I said, VW, Volkswagen did would let you to choose all those options and they would build it. So it might be out there. It is completely possible that it is out there and it has been found. But that's what I did. And I like to show you the process. It was a lot of work. I've been working on this thing for 7 months. And, 6.5 of those months is really doing all the metal work. And then, in the last 2 weeks, I said, oh, okay, let me throw the electric motor and the batteries and all this other stuff. I'm still not done. It's in the process of finish. But I'd like to show you that.
Remind me that there was something behind me. You can hear them. You can hear them banging on the tin, but my love won't be safe. We'll all be staring at the rain. Staring at the way. Staring at the way. They told me I wasn't anything. Before the bomb started falling, I was a thief of the master. I was a walking disaster. I know you hear it coming. I know you hear the sound. I know you feel it coming. Don't let me get you down. You can hear them. You can hear them banging on the tin, but my love won't be safe. We'll all be staring at the way. But my love won't be safe. We'll all be staring at the way.
A little bit faster? Yeah, driving an electric vehicle feels like.
Staring at the way.
Hi, I'm jehugarcia, and I'd like to show you my 1957 VW Samba bus. So what stands this bus from vehicle from all the other ones is that I've converted into an electric vehicle. And here you can see the batteries. Eventually I'm going to have 36 cells for 130 volts, and this 100 amp batteries. And that should give me, by the time I'm done, I want to have a 100-mile range on this. I'm going to have to add more batteries to it. It drives AC induction motor in the back, and the cool thing about this is like completely quiet. It has a lot of torque. It's got more torque than the original motor that came in this car. and it's really fun to drive, and zero emissions, so it's green. And I'm still in the middle of it. It's a process, but I plan to have it done by the next Octa here, and it should be nice and finished and painted. And my plan is to give test drives to everybody that's interested in going electric. They're super simple. It's basically a motor and a controller and a pack of batteries, and that's all you have to put in there. And it's super easy to install. A charger, you charge your batteries. I should be able to charge my batteries in 2 hours, less than 2 hours, and go 100 miles. So that's what allowed me to have this car, basically. It was like, okay, it does everything that I want, and it looks like this. It's like, I think it's a perfect marriage of both techs, it's like classic car with new technology. So this is actually my first VW vehicle that I ever bought. My brother got into it like about 10 years ago. And I always wanted one, but it had a lot of problems. See, it's like they go slow, they're noisy, they leak oil all over the place. So I didn't really like them for that. I mean, I like the way they look, but I just driving it, I thought, no, I want to drive a vehicle that has like a modern vehicle, that has a modern vehicle experience.
So there it is. I hope you like my project, and I still have a lot of work ahead of me. I need to finish my charger. I ordered an open source 10 kilowatt charger. I want to double my pack to 290 amp hours packs for a total of 180 amp hours, and then I'll see how far that gets me. The goal is to go 100 miles range on this guy, and it's a big boxy car, so I don't know how many amp hours I'm gonna need to be able to get a 100-mile range on it. I hope to make it to EVCon this year. I'm making arrangements so that I can see if I can get my electric bus down there. Missouri sounds like a far place to go and take this car, but we'll figure it out. So I hope to see you at EVCon this year and all the attendees. All right.
There you go. That's pretty amazing.
The guy's working on our side of the street.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
A Samba.
Yeah.
I saw a 21 window on eBay for 109 grand the other day.
Oh man.
And
They used to be worth nothing.
they used to grow plants in them.
Yeah, they used to be worth absolutely nothing.
They used to feed cattle in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you're $109,000. So this guy takes a panel truck and makes one out of it.
I can't believe it. I really can't believe it.
Hey, pop a mold on that thing. Make me one out of fiberglass.
Oh man.
Can you imagine if he did a kit car with a custom chassis, and what would a custom chassis look like for a bus? It's a big square thing with a Volkswagen tranny in the back and the Volkswagen front end in the front from a bus.
Yeah.
And a big fiberglass box.
Yeah, really.
With 21 windows, now you can use Lexan or polycarbonate. It's completely legal, even for the windshield.
Yeah.
So that those curved glasses are no big deal. And he's done everything you would want in a VW van. Doors on both sides.
Yeah, cargo
the
doors.
walk-through front seats. The 21 windows.
Yeah.
If he would do that make a mold for, like the doors and the body and the dash and so forth, and get him a famous shower stall manufacturer to pump these puppies out. Make a battery box with a VW transmission in the back and a VW front end in the front, and drop that puppy down on it and call it a kit.
Pretty cool.
Sign me up for the first one.
Yeah.
And that is now probably the best viewer video we've ever received.
I think
Jehu.
so.
I can't wait to see your bus at AvCon and to meet you in person. And it's just amazing.
It is. I mean, just in the VW world to do that, to not let alone an electric vehicle, it's a lot of cojones. I like it.